Hello and welcome to the Kayden Gordon Show, today's best country mix. And joining us right here today is Jess Moskaluke. Jess, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much for your time today.
My pleasure.
So let's get started by getting to know you a little and tell us, how did you get started in music? Tell us your story.
Oof, I always feel like that's such a big, broad question. I'll answer it in the quickest way I can. Basically, I just got started in music the way that anybody got started in any hobby. They just kind of took a liking to it and started to do it more and more. Eventually, put some songs up on YouTube that really took off. Started working with a company in Nashville who then introduced me to my current record label and did a bunch of stuff in between, and here we are.
Well, that was the quick version. That was great. So let's chat about your recent song. It's called Secondhand You. Tell us more about that song.
Yeah, Secondhand You is basically a song that I wrote with, it's a song that I wrote with my friends Sam Ellis and Victoria Banks. And basically, the song is about the feeling that you get when you can sense that somebody is in the room with you. You don't have to necessarily have seen them walk into the room. You can just tell. It's that feeling of, for me, it was my ex when had
Mm-hmm.
written this song. It's like they walk in the room and you're like, they walked in, didn't they? I can just tell. Kind of like you can tell someone has been smoking in a room without ever having to have seen them smoked.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's a really interesting story. You kind of just know you have that like gut feeling.
Totally. I feel like everybody kind of knows that feeling, even if it's not an ex. Maybe it's a maybe it's a good thing for some people, but
Right.
in the case that I was drawing upon, it wasn't a good thing.
Yeah, for sure. So, if you had the opportunity to collaborate with any artist, whether they're with us today or not, who would you choose and why would you choose them?
Um, the person that immediately jumps into my head is Hardy because I think that he's such a great, strong songwriter. I'm a massive fan of him as an artist and a songwriter, but I think that he's got such a way of writing a strong country lyric while testing some of the boundaries of sonically what country music can and should sound like.
Mhm.
And I have massive admiration for that because I think that country music. Actually, I just think that us as artists and people whose job it is to be creative shouldn't be confined to such a tiny little box. So I think he would be a really fun person to write with, to collab with, tour with, whatever. I'll take it.
Absolutely. Now, that actually kind of brings me to my next question. If you had the opportunity to go anywhere in the world and do a show that you have not been to yet, where would you go and why would you go there?
I would say the Grand Ole Opry because even though I just sat here and said, country music should be kind of pushed and
Hmm.
boundaries are set to be adjusted, um, I still think that there's so much history at the Grand Ole Opry, and I think that they've been so welcoming of people who are pushing some of those boundaries too. It's just a historical bucket list location for me.
Absolutely, for sure. Now, do you have any upcoming tours or any projects that we could look forward to?
We are working on something here in Canada that we haven't announced yet in terms of a tour. Right now, I'm just getting set to go on the road for a couple dates in Canada with Carly Pierce. So super excited about that. And I'm also gearing up to release a new single in January.
Oh, that's super exciting. Now, what advice would you give to someone that may want to get into music?
I would just say give it a whirl. You got to start somewhere. And if you overthink that, I think that sometimes it becomes a little less authentic. And country music fans can sniff out inauthenticity a mile away. So if you're not being yourself, they're going to know and it's never going to take flight. So work really hard, take every opportunity you possibly can, and be yourself.
That was really good. I agree with you. I don't think I've ever heard someone say that, but you're
Yeah,
right.
I think it's really true. And I think that this job, I'm calling it a job because technically
It
it
is a
is. I
job.
love it. It's very much a job. It's 24/7. Um,
Yes.
Today is my off day and you're my seventh interview. So,
Oh goodness.
I'm definitely still working and I love it. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But all that to say, if I had created this character and this persona for who I thought Jess Moskaluke should be, it would not be a very fun day off talking to all these people. But because I've just been so true to who I am and what my story is, and writing songs that feel like me, I can sit here and be exactly who I am and say things that are honest. And I think that playing a character every single second of every single day would be really exhausting.
Yeah, it's not like you're acting, so.
Yeah.
So if people want to check out you and your music, where can they find you?
Anywhere they listen to music, whether it's any of the streamers, you can find all of my albums there. I hope they follow me on social media as well. Pretty much all of my social accounts are just at Jess Moskaluke. I think TikTok is maybe at Jess Moskaluke official, but I'm pretty active on socials, and I love to release like demo songs and have my fans let me know what they think about them. So would love to say hi and have them follow us on socials.
If you had one message to tell anybody that was listening right now, whether that be your fans, my listeners, what would you tell them?
Dang, I feel like I would probably just kind of repeat the authenticity thing. I think that something that they may not know about me that I think is worth sharing is that I live in a small town in a farming rural
Hmm.
community. I actually don't live in that small town. That's a lie. I live outside of it. We have 20 acres of land out here. Like I
Hmm.
live a country lifestyle. So um, yeah, I think that that's sometimes important to note because I know that some people hear my music and because it's pop country, they're like, she's not country. And I'm like, uh, the barn staring at me outside my window right now says that I'm pretty country. I'm countryer than anyone living in Nashville.
Well, that's true. There's a lot of people. I see where they're coming from, and but in that instance, they might not know that other side. So, just saying,
Yeah.
I see
Yeah,
where
it's
you're
just
coming
a
from.
fun little thing. I remember last time I was in the UK, there was a review that had come out about our show, and they said that
Hmm.
they loved it and they felt like things were that we were like personable and the songs were good and everything, but they said that they weren't Canadian enough and that it felt very like not the stories didn't feel country, and I was like, what does that mean though? So I
Yeah,
always think it's interesting to share that little tidbit for any new followers that might not know.
absolutely. And I find it weird that they said Canadian for reviewing the UK.
I thought that too. I was like, what? I think I was mostly confused because I wasn't sure what kind of stories they like. I write a lot of songs about love, um,
Hmm.
and I have a song called Map Dot that's about my tiny little town. But
Yep.
we're not sneaking in stories about moose or Tim Hortons or Tukes every other word in our stories. We're
Yeah.
just telling stories.
Right.
So yeah, I always thought that was kind of funny, but it is what it is.
Absolutely, for sure. And Jess, is there anything that I forgot to mention that you'd like to mention before we go today?
I don't think so. I just can't wait for people to hear some of this new music. But they will hear it soon. And until then, I hope they enjoy secondhand you.
Awesome, Jess Moskaluke. Thank you so much for taking the time to come on the Kayden Gordon Show, today's best country mix. Definitely appreciate your time and support, and hope to have you on the show again real soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.